So hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Juliettsstyleglam. If this is your first time on my channel, it's really bienvenue. And if you're already subscribed to my channel, you're awesomely welcome. Alright, so today's video we're going to be going, we're going to be going a lot in depth. I always like to, once in a while I come up with, my little lessons or on sex and some of the things that, or some of the issues that arise from sex, and things that a lot of us a lot of people don't talk about these days, and sometimes it's almost like a taboo to talk about them. Let's put the slide up here. Right, so today we're going to be talking about sex and orgasms for women. You guys, I can't even begin to tell you, because my last video, one of my old videos, I'm going to put the link here, where I talked about orgasm when I breastfeed. It's just the same thing. A lot of we women especially go around having this crazy ideology about orgasms, and I'm speaking basically more for women here, about orgasms. Of course, I'm going to blame the romance books. Yes, I'm going to blame each and every one of them, because they are to blame here. They give us this warped extreme fantasies about orgasms, and it doesn't happen. I remember the first time, my first time, and I was like, I had this high expectation. Really, God, I had this high expectation. Well, guess what? I cried, because it was so disappointing for me. And this is one of the reasons I want to put into perspective some of the things that we have. Excuse my voice, because as you guys all know, I'm still coming out of a bad bout of cold. So yeah, excuse my voice, it's going in different waves right now. And like I said, I had this high, as I was saying, I had this high expectations, and to say that I was disappointed, it's just putting it mildly. All right, so you guys, let me know, how was it your first time? I got a lot of, okay, now before I continue, thank you and shout out to all of you who sent me messages via email on that video, which I'm going to put here. So yeah, put your, don't fail to leave your comments. What was your first time like, and what were your expectations? And I think these are the things that actually are the issues, and it took me a while and some time to realize and to understand that no, it wasn't this big thing, that we put it on a pedestal. And in a lot of cases we even put the men on a pedestal, concerning orgasms. And even men also do put themselves on this pedestal, because they are always like, oh God, well, not all men are that sensitive, but we are, work with me here, guys. So but we are, if you understand my drift, you get my drift, right? So I think one of the issues, and one of the most not disturbing, I won't say, well, I think one of the issues that we put ourselves in through expecting that the first time there must always be an orgasm. Hell no. Hey, wake up. No, there mustn't be, because at the end of the day, like I said, you're putting yourself on a pedestal, and you've put this man on a pedestal, and at the end of the day you are more or less tense. You're expecting something, you're waiting for something, you have this, oh, let it come, let it come, let it come, and at the end of the day you just fall flat on your face. Nothing is happening. So I think one of the things, is remove it from your mind that the first time, or you must always have one, because the truth be told, 10% of women in the world, or 10% of women, have never had an orgasm. And I figure amongst 10%. Well, that's not true. I do have an orgasm, but not through penetrative sex. So let me be clear. All right. Now, secondly, another issue is, and what I'm going to say about this is, while we are all, while you put yourself in this, situation, understand also that, it mustn't be the case. Excuse me, I have to adjust my tripod. All right. Understand that it mustn't be the case, it mustn't happen the first time. And listen, that it didn't happen that time doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. There is nothing wrong with you. You're perfectly normal. Your body is just responding to its own stimulus at its own time. So another thing also is, for you to be able to, for another reason, or another thing I would also tell you is that for you to be able to reach orgasm, and I will tell you this, for the first time, especially when you're having sex with somebody for the first time you've never had sex with, you don't expect it to go right. And do not expect that the person whom you're with should know what to do just like that. I mean, there must be communication here, so you don't expect it. It's a lot of things that are coming in at once. The tension, your mental and your physical state, everything is coming in, in focus here. So do not expect it to be, and there's nothing really wrong with that. It's okay. Now, what I would say, another reason I would say, is that there is this thing about, orgasm being earth-shattering and it must be this explosive sort of thing. Well, orgasm is orgasm. There are some that are so mild, and there are some that are like that. So it doesn't necessarily have to be, like I said, we have all drawn expectations concerning orgasms, especially for we women, and a lot of us always think that if a man cannot make us orgasm, then that means he wasn't good at what he did. Hell no. Hello. Who tell you that? No, it's not that. And moreover, it's a lot of things. It's also, which I'm gonna go through all that later. I had this friend of mine, and we got talking one time, and she has she's got 5 kids, and she said to me that we were just having a conversation, and then I just mentioned orgasms, and she was like, what's that? And I was like, something that happens when you and a man have sex, and something that happens afterwards. It could be in this form or in this form. And she was like, and she said she doesn't know what that is. I was like, really? So we're in a situation whereby I'm just saying this just for what we're in a situation whereby I feel that the man is just having his own, he's getting his rocks off, and his wife has no clue about what she could be getting. And they've got 5 kids, and she's never experienced anything like that. That's for me. And for me, seriously, I couldn't go in there because the dynamics don't belong to me. And and I explained it to her, and I was like, okay, why don't you maybe when you get home you discuss with your husband and see what and know what it's all about, do some research and see what it could be. So you see that a lot of women don't even know what it is, and in her own case, I understand it's a lack of communication on the part of both of them, because the man knows, but the woman doesn't know, and he is not interested, or he doesn't even know that her satisfaction also is important as well. Now, another thing also, I will tell you that is a big fat lie is when you think that orgasms must always happen through penetrative sex. No, I'm one of those people, like I said. So it mustn't always be through penetrative sex, because for everybody it's different, and a lot of things that come into play, from the anatomy of the body, to how you're, it's a lot of things, different things. I was able to know mine pretty well on time. Not that I had never had an orgasm through penetrative sex, but it wasn't all the time. And and I realized that it was so far and far between. I was like, hey, I'm not going to do this anymore, you know. So for me, you know that, but I mean, there are people who do, but I'm not one of those people. And I also think that, you know, there are other ways, and I believe that other ways you can also have an orgasm, and it will be just as good, you know, as, you know, not through you know, as penetrative sex, even maybe if not better, you know. And we're going to talk about those things, you know, later. And that, you know, especially for a woman, sex is, people say sex is purely physical. Now let me give an example. There was, well, I would not say it's purely physical. I would not say that it's a lie that it is purely physical, and I will not say it's true that it is purely physical. I also think it's also the state of mind. If there are people, okay, who this is what they are. It's all about the sex, and that's it. And hey, wham bam, thank you, ma'am. And they're out. They're gone. There are others that for them it's both mentally and physically. Now, I also believe that a time comes when in one's life where you want to just play. You know, it happens. I mean, nobody's a saint here. I'm not talking about somebody being a saint. All I'm saying is that while you're playing, play safe. All right? Always play safe. Okay? That's my first rule. Play safe all the time. From your preservatives to your condoms, name it. Play safe. Always practice safe sex. Now, while I say that I would agree it's purely physical, and I will not agree that it's purely physical, because each person's state of mind is always different. There are people that have been, I'm one of those people that have been, because of heartbreak, they took themselves away from that mental state and, you know, looking for emotion, to putting themselves in that physical state and say, okay, this is what it's all about. Hey, bam, bam, thank you, bye. And there are others who have to be both. It's just who people in the world, I mean, just as we are all different shades, color, name it, that's the same thing. We all have different ideologies. So if it's purely physical for you, it's very possible that you can also attain orgasm without having or attaching anything emotionally or mentally to it. If you're one of those people who have to do both, then this is for you, because then it's not orgasm for you to have an orgasm. It's not purely a physical thing. It's both. Okay, so that means you have to be in tune with both mind and body, and this happens for women a lot. For men, having an orgasm is like, you know, he's gotta go. You know, he's gotta go. You know, he's just gotta go. Except if the guy has an issue. But then he's got to go, you know. But for we women, it's a totally different ball game altogether. Now, in another sense, if you're one of those people also who is into the mental and the physical, that means for you to be able to achieve an orgasm, and if your mind is somewhere else, if you're thinking about something else, if the person is not doing it right, if something is not just clicking, it can't come. Well, that's just what it is. That's how it is. So if something is not clicking, it just can't happen. All right. So, and hey, you know, like I said, in most of these things, you always have to find out for yourself. You have to study yourself, study your body, and ask yourself what is wrong, what is not, you know, what is my body telling me, what do I need? And like everyone, like I always say it, you know, I'm one of those people that I try to study things and, you know, try to say, oh, maybe this could work this way, this could not work this way. I'm one of those people. So it took me